sucks.
Yeah. Like, I never, ever want to move ever again, but I know that I'm going to one day.
I know. I'm still unpacking. There's like, fuck, why am I moving this again?
Yeah.
I'm going through this shit and getting rid of a bunch of it, so I'm kind of doing that right now.
Yeah, getting into stuff's always hard.
Yeah.
Like, there's always that inkling, like, well, what if I need this, Sturgis 2006 t-shirt? What if I'm in some sort of biker-related conversation and I want to pull out my Sturgis shirts?
My thing is, like, I have, like, 6 rolls of electrical tape because I would always just go buy another one whenever I needed it.
Why electrical tape specifically?
Well,
You work with electricity?
all the time. I don't know, like, I did some speaker wire stuff I had needed some tape for, and it's like, I just never bothered to look for the old one I had. I would just go buy a new one.
Is electrical tape actually better for electric purposes than, say, duct tape or masking tape or packing tape?
Yeah. I don't know. I assume it's got a function that makes it
because it melts so easily.
Yeah, that's true.
Which I feel runs against the grain of what you feel its intended purpose is supposed to be.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
Have you ever? And it's funny. Like, have you ever tried using duct tape to tape up a box, like a moving box? Doesn't work as well.
Really?
Packing tape is better for that job. It's odd, isn't it?
Let's get the Mythbusters in here. I want to know why these different tapes were created.
It almost seems like it could be a podcast of itself. Great tape discussion. Unraveling. I don't know if I would listen to that.
Made some tape.
What's the one that Freakonomics one? What's it called?
Freakonomics?
Oh, is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Tapeonomics. This is one that's going to have to piggyback on the success of another podcast if it's ever going to go anywhere.
And that was potty material right
there.
Just, I hope all that makes it to the final cut.
What do you think the potty statuette's going to look like? I don't want one of those, J.D. Power and Associate things that just looks like a plaque with a stand.
Well, what is the shape and form of a podcast?
Blowing my mind, Matt.
If a podcast were a person, what would he look, or she look like?
Just a giant earbud.
Yeah. That wouldn't be a bad idea. I don't know if that would make the most attractive statuette.
No, yeah, it would kind of be like one of those shower heads that you can take off and, move around the shower massager style one. That's what I'm picturing. Or we could also use that to our advantage and just, paint one of those gold and stick it on the stand.
Yeah. So, all right, why are they called Oscars? Was there an Oscar?
That's a good question.
Is that who the little golden figure is modeled after? Some sort of Oscar?
Some dude named Oscar?
Yeah.
I don't know. Wow. I feel like I should know that.
Maybe we should make our own Oscars and have it be Oscar the Grouch. And just paint that gold.
Sure. Like fuzzy, trash can, laden.
Maybe put like a Pez dispenser of Oscar the Grouch.
Just...
When we hand out the award, it's filled up so you can pull its head back and it gives you candy.
Nice, yeah. Would it be Pez?
Yeah, why not?
Okay. I just feel like... Do they make sour Pez?
Pez and potties?
Pez just doesn't really taste like anything for me.
It tastes like sugary chalk.
Mmm.
Maybe a big lemon. Just a giant lemon on the top of the statue.
For the potties?
Yeah. I feel like a lemon is...
Yeah, Asterpick
represents podcasts.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sour. I'm really enjoying following The Onion on Instagram right now, and they've been doing these stupid, like, did you know ones, and one was like, did you know that lemons are actually eggs laid by a sour goose? Like, that's the stupidest joke.
One of my favorite Onion ones. It was released on Halloween a couple years ago, and the headline was what celebrities might look like today. And, like, they listed like a bunch of celebrities who had like passed like way too young. But because they released it on Halloween, they just showed people in costumes, and they're like, had Kurt Cobain lived to, 2015, he might have dressed up as a jack-o'-lantern.
Oh, good stuff. The Onion's really doing a great job of getting me through this time period.
These trying times.
These trying times. I saw a recent one that was like Mike Pence pulls funding for the Department of Agriculture because he found out that elk don't mate for life. Something like that.
Seems reasonable.
Yeah. Seems like something he'd do.
How many animals do mate for life? I know that, like...
Swans.
I was going to say, I think mallards are supposed to.
Yeah.
According to the urban legend.
Couple birds.
I've never followed a mallard like to death, so I can't say whether or not he was faithful the whole time.
What if it's just like a front that mallards are putting on for...
to appeal to the Christian rights?
Yeah. But really there's these weird sex situations that mallards get into.
Mallard orgies?
Yeah, or like...
They're big swingers?
Swingers, yeah. Situation.
Or they don't count hand stuff as cheating.
Yeah.
Wing stuff. Beak stuff.
And you can't say butt stuff because they only have the cloaca, so... Just one.
My favorite sexual organ.
Although ducks are different, right? Because there was that thing a few years ago where they were talking about how twisty and weird duck vaginas are.
I thought it was the duck penis that was twisted. Well, I guess it would have to.
Yeah,
match.
they work together.
Yeah.
Which is... Oh, fuck.
Aren't pig penises also like corkscrew?
Yeah.
Like
There's video online, please don't Google it, of a duck penis like becoming erect, and because of the situation of the vagina, like, and they have to do it so fast that it like spirals out of control, becomes huge, and just like squirts as it's going out. It's really awful footage.
Is it like one of those out of control sprinklers with just like the hose that goes every direction?
Yeah, or like, just picture putting a balloon, like a long balloon on a hose that has a hole at the end of it, and it's like twisted, and then you turn the hose on all the way, and it sort of like spirals out.
I can dig it.
Okay.
I respect the duck.
Whew, what happened? Where are we? What are we talking about?
Is this thing on?
And there went our last listener.
Well, maybe we should go into safer territory.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea.
I watched While We're Young, the Noah Baumbach movie, like the last one.
Was that the most new? Yeah, the newest one.
With Adam Driver, Ben Stiller, Naomi Watts, and I will not remember the other girl's name.
Okay.
She wasn't in it very much, but and I'd kind of forgotten how much I like Noah Baumbach.
Yeah. He's back on a good streak. Like,
Yeah.
I liked Francis Ha a lot.
Yeah.
And, what was something he did before that? He did something before that I liked. Maybe I'm thinking Margot at the Wedding. Because I did like that.
I did like that, too. That's one of those, I guess, Nicole Kidman got called Hitler, like her character, when it, like, premiered at Sundance. They're like, oh my god, Nicole Kidman's playing Hitler. I'm like, God, that's a little rash. And when I saw that movie, I'm like, oh, she's pretty awful in this. But I'm not one of those movie watchers that, like, just because the character's all despicable, that will turn me off. I still will like movies with perfectly despicable characters.
Oh, yeah.
But I can see how, like, the average moviegoer might be turned off by that one.
For sure.
But, and While We're Young is sort of in that vein.
Okay.
Like, there's no shining knight in that one. There's no perfect character, which I appreciate and I like. I also like Ben Stiller in Baumbach films. I think he does a good job in them.
Okay.
Or that Noah writes really well for him, however you want to look at it.
Yeah.
But yeah, and it's very like classic Baumbach, like the animosity and like the hatred is, untethered and unvarnished.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Okay. Well, I'll check it out.
Yeah, it was solid. I liked it a lot. So I guess we should introduce ourselves.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea.
I'm Matt Fisher.
I'm Ryan Whedon.
And this is
X-Rated.
X-Rated. Welcome to episode 11. We had half a date this week. We went to a movie, and we wanted a meal, but we didn't eat.
I was thinking about bringing food over and just eating through the analysis portion of this.
You should be like the women who are like slurping up that spaghetti.
Exactly, yeah. I just wanted to really get that impression on people.
This week we went to a theater and we watched the movie Tampopo, directed by someone whose name I can't pronounce, so you'll have to look it up. It's from 1985, and it's been described as a ramen western. It has sort of the elements of like a classic spaghetti western, or like even non-spaghetti western. It has like the, wrangling up like the motley crew of people to get the job done, a la Magnificent Seven or something like that. But in this case, instead of like, saving a hostage or getting the money back, they're trying to fix up a ramen shop to make it a successful business.
Yeah, that's good. That's good description.
Yeah.
It's a little more than that.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's more to it, definitely.
Yeah.
That's the driving story.
That's the A storyline, yeah.
Yeah. But
I'm just going to say, I really liked it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I like this movie. Oh, I guess I should say that this is the first X-rated movie that we've seen together.
That's right.
And that we actually, went to a theater and watched.
That's true.
Everything else I've watched sitting on this exact couch.
Yeah. I guess nothing else has been in the theater when we're ready to, analyze it.
Yeah. So
it was kind of fun, actually, because now I'm thinking about it, some of my comments involve the audience that we watched it with.
Oh, okay.
So,
yeah, I've seen Tampopo once before, and it was at home, and it was New Year's Eve, and I started watching at 7:30 p.m. So I had to watch it while kind of getting ready to go out. So especially near the end, I'm getting dressed and brushing my teeth and stuff like that. So some of it kind of distracted me to the end part. So it was kind of nice to sit and watch it isolated from distraction.
Sure.
And it's also sort of nice to see other people's reaction to stuff.
Yeah.
So
there was a woman off to my right, or both of ours, off to the front, 2 rows up, who thought lots of it was funny. Majority of the movie was laugh out loud worthy.
I mean, it is sort of a funny movie.
Yeah, there was a lot of, I laughed out loud many times for sure.
Yeah. So we have the A story, which is, the woman Tampopo, which is Japanese for dandelion, as she's trying to fix up her shop with the help of 2 truckers. I don't know what made them necessarily an authority on ramen.
Yeah. I have a question I'm thinking about. In the very beginning, it's Ken Watanabe's character that's telling the other one, the cowboyish John Wayne character, whose name I can't remember, about meeting a ramen expert. Is that right?
Yeah, the sensei.
Okay. And so he's got, this love of ramen. Is that the deal?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
I kind of missed that whole premise, and I was thinking about the whole movie. I was a little confused about
so the movie,
that first scene.
I mean, the opening is that dude telling us to not eat our food too loudly, and then we get to the scene of the 2 male leads in the truck, and one's explaining to the other how he grew to appreciate ramen.
Yeah,
and it's basically this old guy is you have to contemplate your bowl of ramen. Look at the slices of pork. Look at the scallions as they float.
Right. And then there's beautiful shots of ramen, very appetizing.
Right away, I'm I'm hungry.
Yeah.
We're 5 minutes in, and I'm I want ramen.
It looks really good. And for a movie about or containing lots of people eating noodles and slurping broth quite audibly, and we're pretty close up for a lot of it.
Yeah.
It's not gross.
No.
Which I find surprising because I hate people who chew with their mouth open, and I hate the sound of people eating. Exactly.
Continue.
For some reason in this movie, it didn't gross me out so much. It was more funny, I guess.
Yeah, there was something about it. The way that they did it, it's I sort of empathized with their passion for the food.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to eat it as feverishly and as emotionally as they did.
Sure.
Yeah, because especially there's one scene that I really don't know what it has to do with anything, when they're in that like fancy hotel.
Oh, right.
And there's like a room full of women like learning how to eat in sort of a Western style.
Right.
So they're eating all this spaghetti and they're told not to make a noise. And they quickly disregard that and just start like slurping spaghetti down.
Yeah. But it's not so gross for some reason.
No. I mean, it was really funny. Like, the scene just kept going. But I don't know what that scene had to do with the rest of the movie.
Oh, no, I mean, well, then that's where we get into the, like, vignettes that the story kind of passes off onto.
Yeah.
Like, the A story, I think it happens 3 times, which I think divides the movie into 3 acts, sort of.
Okay.
I'm not sure about that. But, each time, and it's really cool, I know, at least the first one was really cool, the way he sort of takes us off of the A storyline, where it's just, like, they're doing that silly training sequence with Tampopo and the dude. He's on a bike, and it totally reminded me of the like sequence from Mike Tyson's Punch Out, the little mask sequence, the sweatsuit bike, whatever. But she stops, and then she's like just kind of running around the bike, and then these businessmen come out from behind a bush. And then, like, we just start following them. Like, very, very smooth transition. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, and, like, we follow them into the hotel where they order, like, a business lunch or something. Mm-hmm. And there's the one, like, upstart that orders something different than all the other executives. Right. And it does that cut, and all their faces are red.
Why were they red?
I think it's because they were either angry or embarrassed for them. I'm not entirely sure what reaction they were supposed to be having, but... Either way, they were not pleased with that youngster's brazen disregard for...
Not ordering the exact same thing that everyone else ordered.
Yeah.
But then it moves on to the linguini ladies, and then like it's... And I kind of feel like all those little vignettes, and there's tons of them, have to deal kind of with like the sensuality of food. Okay. Because there's the dentist one where it's like, you know, there's mouth pleasure and then mouth pain, which he has, and then like he gets the ice cream and we're just watching him like get it all over his face, and then he hands it to the kid. Yeah. Who also like gets to experience, who like can't have sweets.
The kid with a little cardboard sign that says like, I only eat organic food, please no sweets or something.
Then the guy hands him his ice cream and it's like, I don't know. I mean, I personally can't remember the first time I had something sweet, but it's like if you were of a certain age and hadn't had any refined sugar or something, it must be an amazing sensation to finally have that, you know? Yeah. But then also there's like the squeezy lady who's just like, you know, the sensation of squeezing.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely near the end, but there's a lady who goes into a little like bodega or grocery store, and first, she ruins a peach by just thumbing the hell out of it. And then she goes along and, like, ruins some perfectly good brie. Yeah. And then she goes into
pastries.
Yeah, she gets sloppy with those pastries.
Like one squeeze per Danish in the situation. Which, I don't know, I almost sympathize with her a little bit, too, because there's definitely been times when, like, I'll go into a bakery and, like, I just want to touch...
You've been chased around by a grocer for ruining fruit.
I can't confirm or deny that. My lawyer says I shouldn't say anything about that.
But this was like another little vignette that really had nothing to do with the story at large. It was just sort of a funny little offshoot that like kind of, I don't know, I'm sure you definitely like, you've watched a really long movie where you're like, okay, it's good, like I get it. Yeah. But like I'm tired of these characters, or I just want this to be over. The little vignettes were a little refreshing.
Yeah. I don't know if I've ever seen a movie do that before.
With just completely unrelated?
Yeah, just break away but then come back. Yeah. You know, like...
Yeah, not in that style. Like
I can't think of any movie that's done that.
Yeah, because they're not really interrelated. You know, it's not like a Altman film where there's 22 storylines.
Right.
But they're all, like, tangentially related.
Eventually intersect. Yeah. In a situation. Yeah, it's not like that. It's like... These characters come in, do their little deal, and then we don't see them again.
Yeah, they're nameless, and I mean, the only B storyline that we really come back to is the sex food people.
I guess we can't not talk about the sex food.
Did you not want to talk about the sex food people?
No, I was just putting it off. I guess. Okay. Well, there's a so there's the A storyline of building the ramen shop. There's if there is a B storyline, it's the people we meet at the very beginning of the movie who hate it when people eat loudly, and they have some funny ideas about food. And
To them, it's totally normal.
You're right. I shouldn't judge.
But yeah, so the movie is like otherwise like G or PG rated. Like
Right.
maybe there's like a couple cuss words, but for the most part, it's a pretty squeaky clean affair, with the exception of like just this. I mean, I think it happens really twice. In the kiss, I don't even think they were naked, were they? I think they were clothed. No, she was clothed because she's wearing white.
Yeah, you do see like her top off at one point.
But yeah, during the first scene, like they're having some erotic times,
Sexy food times, kissing and pouring honey between their lips,
which is gross, but I can see how it'd be a turn on. There's the whipped cream. She dips her breast in whipped cream and then puts the breast in his mouth.
Mm-hmm.
And there's the crawfish or the shrimp or whatever it was.
Yeah, I don't know what those were exactly.
He puts them in a live
prawns in a bowl with some hot sauce. We think,
and then he puts the bowl over her stomach while the crawfish writhe around, presumably in agony. I thought they were suffocating, but someone else said that it was hot sauce, so they were probably in pain because of that. But it was tickling the lady with pleasure.
And the theater was filled with nervous laughter.
Yeah. Everyone seemed to be enjoying themselves.
Yeah. It's weird, because they kind of do that, and then there's just like that weird circle wipe, and then we get back to the A story.
Yeah. Liberal use of the circle wipe in this movie.
It's kind of fun. I mean, they would also, I'd throw into that like category of he's maybe just demonstrating the sensuality of food, you know, like because you have lots of movies that try to stimulate your visual senses or your oral, senses, but you don't have many that are trying to get your mouth to water, like really trying to get you to think about, using your mouth as a sensation kind of situation. You know what I mean? So this movie really, I feel like, is aiming for that. Is really trying to get you to think about like mouth and like sex often, or you use your mouth for sex. There we go.
Do you?
Spit it out. Yeah.
Did we?
I thought so. Don't edit history. But and so it's like you also use your mouth to eat, so it's like he's kind of like drawing that parallel maybe.
But I would say even more memorable than the crawfish or the prawns is the egg yolk. Eggs! There's a scene where the dude kind of embraces the lady from behind.
It looked like they just got done having they just put on their clothes to go out after having a crazy day of food sex. Yeah.
Embraces her from behind. While he does that, separates an egg, and then he puts the egg yolk in his mouth, and then proceeds to pass it to her mouth, and they pass it back and forth like it's a volley.
It's like 4 or 5 times.
Yeah, like they're pros at it. This is not their first rodeo. And finally the yolk breaks in her mouth, and she just lets it spill out all over her white dress, and she's smiling with pleasure, and it is a sight. Like, the reaction from the crowd was audible. Like, people, you could feel the tension.
There was a lot of, first, he drops the score during that part, so it's just like, you just hear them, like,
you hear the
breathing,
squick.
like you can hear the yolk passing, and the theater was just full of nervous, like,
But we're all nervous with anticipation for if and when that yolk would break, or if they would swallow it whole.
Right, I didn't know what was going to happen.
Yeah.
How many takes do you think it took to do that scene? Because
I feel like I could do that all right. I'm gonna say they did just one. They got it on the first one.
Okay, maybe.
Maybe 2 for safety, but I'm feeling like I could do that.
Okay, I believe you.
I can tell in your eyes that you don't believe me. I will find someone who is not squeamish of raw eggs, and I'll call it the Tampopo.
Just one guy, one yolk. Can use a glass. I'll be looking for that video. I'll have a Google alert set up. They still have Google alerts?
I don't know.
Oh boy, my references.
What are you talking about? We have the most topical reference. We're totally cowabunga on this.
Oh boy, is that what the kids are saying?
So one thing that I want to talk about with this movie is sort of how ramen, at least inside the movie, is sort of a metaphor for art the whole time.
Okay.
I mean, the movie is about craft.
Sure.
Like how if it's worth doing, it's worth doing well sort of way.
Mm-hmm.
They're turning this mediocre ramen shop into like a thriving like pinnacle of, high ramen.
Right.
And even at the very beginning when the sensei is like teaching you how to like savor it, you're supposed to be looking at the different elements of it and appreciating them for what they are.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the beginning, when the cowboy dude is telling her to like look at the customers, it's sort of like look at your audience.
Okay.
Like who are you serving for? And there's just like that little theme of like, you're making something, but it's for the public. The best example I feel is in that scene when they go to one of the rival ramen shops.
Right.
And they're sort of nitpicking the ramen, and it's like, you just don't appreciate, this is like high-end ramen. And they're like, you're making this for the public. If it's specialty ramen, like, and the public doesn't get it, then what are you making it for?
Right.
I always feel about that like super arty stuff where it's like, oh, you just don't get it.
Sure,
You're not in on that like level of thinking. And it's like, well, then who are you making this for? Like, you're releasing it to the public, and if we don't get it, then why are you making it for the public?
Right, yeah.
And yeah, there's just that recurring theme of, this is a craft, you're making this for someone other than yourself.
Right.
So you have to think of them and how they're going to react or appreciate or, how they're going to interpret or internalize it.
Right.
And it felt like there was just in each of the at least the A story vignettes, that element of like honing your craft, getting better, and even if it just means like stealing from someone who does it well, like it's all fair game. Like they find ways, they figure out who's doing something the best, and they just take from that.
Right.
And then
that's how she gets her broth.
That's it. Yeah. Well, that's how she got the noodle recipe too.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, she just figured out who was doing it the best and figured it out from there. But then there's the opposite of how is the public reacting to this, and how should you react to the public reacting to this?
Right.
And so I just felt like, the director sort of, that's the way that he approaches like making his art, is he's thinking like, how is the public going to react to this, and is this the reaction I want from them?
Sure.
He's not making the movie for himself necessarily. He's making it for the public.
Right.
And I think that he just used the ramen shop as sort of a metaphor for, art making in general.
I see that for sure.
Yeah.
I'm actually kind of glad you said that, because I was thinking a couple of times throughout this movie, I thought about the documentary Jiro Dreams of Sushi,
mm-hmm.
Which I did not like.
Oh, you didn't?
I didn't, because that guy's a dick. And I had just gotten done...
Obama ate there, man.
I had just gotten done working at a restaurant where the chef was a total asshole. I
would just like to note for the audience that after you said that movie sucked and that Jiro's a dick, like, we both rearranged our sitting positions. Like, we have changed our body language.
It's no longer a casual conversation. I know I know I'm in the minority on that one, but it's just, I think it was because it hit me at a time where it's like
your foodie sensibilities were kicking.
Yeah, and well, they were like dropping off, where it's like, you're just a dick, shut up, like you're making food, like it's blah blah blah. But I like it better. I like Tampopo better to think about it as like a metaphor for creating art or film or whatever, more than like just striving to be the very best you can, which is was kind of my take in a fun way from it, watching it this time. But I like that. Yeah, I like your take on it.
Yeah, because it just seems that the director kind of made a point of making the audience's reaction or feelings towards whatever you're making as valid. Mm-hmm. That this is who you're making your product for. It's like when you'll hear famous people say, like, your fans are everything. If you're good to them, they'll be good to you.
Sure.
And you got to give the fans what they want. It's sort of that mentality. You can't necessarily just do it for you. You got to do it for the fans.
For sure, yeah.
And I feel like that's sort of what he was doing with like the ROM. It's like you have to do it, for the hungry public.
Right.
And he did it sort of in the I don't want to say tropey, but what's a way to say tropey, but in positive connotations, in a genre style.
Okay, yeah, there you go.
With like inside the elements of like, getting the band back together, all the great thinkers to chip in and contribute to this last big score or something like that.
Yeah, it does kind of have like a little bit of a heist feel too, in that way, where it's like, even though these guys didn't know each other, well, I guess some of them did, like that old guy that they got.
Yeah, the sensei, like they knew him.
Mm-hmm. And I guess I think he was also, I can't guarantee this, but he was giving all of the dudes like a different nationality, kind of. Because that old sensei was wearing a beret, so he's like he's coming from the French school. And then there was like the Western cowboy hat wearing guy, and then like the trucker, which I guess is American again, but still, like just this idea of he's kind of like pulling from all sorts of different cultures as well.
What did you make at the end when like our narrator gets shot? And takes about 5 minutes to stumble and die.
I wasn't sure at first, because it's kind of violent.
Yeah.
And out of nowhere.
Yeah.
But it quickly becomes funny.
Yeah.
Because the way he's squirming over like those
the
bars.
Bars.
And then, as soon as like she rushes up out, then it's like, don't die. And he starts telling her about wild boar sausages. It's like,
oh, yeah.
Okay, this is funny. I wrote down his last line, because he said, my final movie is starting. At the beginning, he's like, I love the idea of your life passing before your eyes, because it's like a film that I've always wanted to see. And I don't know. That's funny, because like he says that line and then dies, but like the theater erupted.
Yeah.
And I laughed too, out loud. It's funny, the moments that I thought were funny, now that I'm thinking about it, because the scene where she finally gets the ramen right.
Yes.
And they're just all these reaction shots of her looking nervous. And like,
well, doesn't she cry?
Yeah, she's just crying. Because she's so happy, but it's, I don't know, funny. It's just like, it's something I don't think I've ever laughed at before in a movie.
Someone getting their noodles right.
Yeah. I don't know. That's part of the charm of this movie too, though.
Yeah.
Just being able to...
Yeah, it's just a quirky little film.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't feel like it's making a grand statement, which is for the best.
Yeah. It's really light and, like, bright colors. Apparently this restoration that we saw makes it look way better than it did before.
So this was a new 4K resolution print. When I initially challenged you for this, it's because I saw it and I was like, oh, that'd be a good one for... And, get us out of the house and, you know, have a little adventure.
Uh-huh.
But then between the time that I challenged you to watch this one and then the time that we're recording this, Criterion announced that they're going to be releasing it.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, I was like, oh.
No, it's good. We got out of the house for once.
Yeah.
It's a good thing. So they tell me. Oh, you know what we need to talk about? Is
the egg yolk scene some more? I got some more comments.
Was that Foleyed or was that live set sound? The one of the vignettes that I thought was funny, and another thing that I feel weird laughing at was the woman who was dying, and her husband comes home, and it's like, you need to cook us one last meal.
Oh,
so
yeah.
She, pulls herself off her deathbed.
She's visibly dying.
She pulls herself off her deathbed, makes them food.
Yeah.
And dies. And it's like, it is funny, but it's also...
Well, then the father's like yelling at the children to like finish their meal. Eat it while it's hot.
Yeah, it's the last meal your mother ever made.
But yeah, no, she was like very sickly looking, dragged herself out of bed, made some ramen for all of them, sat down and then collapsed. And yeah.
It's weird dark humor there.
There was a poem that I read a long time ago, and I want to say it was E.E. Cummings, and I have no idea if it actually was.
Okay.
But I'm going to say it was E.E. Cummings.
Sure.
And there's a line in it, I don't remember the rest of the poem for shit, but there's one line that said it was either eating is social or food is social, one of those two.
Okay.
But it was like eating is a social event.
Mm-hmm.
And I've always kind of thought about it that way. Like, you know, obviously we eat alone all the time, but like we still go out to eat.
Sure.
Like the event can still be very social, and there's like a reason why like families get together for dinner rather than something else. Like there, even though like our mouths are full, there is something social about eating.
Right. And it's like, you know, cooking for large groups of people is you know, a thing. It's not, food is something that brings people together.
Yeah.
And
like growing up, I always wanted to like just gather around a table, hang out for a half an hour, and then we all get $20. Like that'd be much better for me, and then we'd just go buy our own meals. But I don't know. Yeah, there's something about like, yeah, food being part of a social experience.
Sure.
That the movie kind of touched upon too.
Yeah, I guess a little bit.
Yeah.
Even though there were those, like, a lot of people coming by themselves to these, you know, kind of junky-looking little noodle shops.
Yeah, but there is something sort of social about those Japanese noodle shops where it's like the chef is right there.
Right.
Like, they just put the food directly in front of you the moment it's done.
Right.
Which is sort of like, or, you know, we even have places like that here, like, you know, Tai Tom in the U District.
Right, yeah.
Like, they're just right there. They'll be pouring food, and you can, like, feel the heat from that pan.
For sure, yeah. You're getting splashed with the oil.
Yeah. You know, it is sort of different than, you know, most, you know, Western restaurants where it's like the chef is in a secluded room.
Right.
And, you know, only authorized figures can go in and out of the kitchen and stuff like that and bring you your food.
I think that kind of speaks to like food being an equalizer in a lot of ways, and I think that he touches on this in the movie a little bit with like the homeless people being the like gastronomes.
Yeah.
Oh god, what's that word?
I know what you mean, but
okay.
I'm not gonna.
Blech.
I'm not gonna embarrass myself.
Well, anyway. And also, I mean, they touch on this in other food movies, too. Like, Ratatouille does it, too, where it's like, you get behind in the kitchen and they're all like, I was a criminal, blah, blah, blah. And, like, you know. And I've experienced this in my own, you know, just working in restaurants all the time. It's like, kitchen, you know, you can have some, like, strange people making food that's so friggin' delicious, you know? It's funny. That like disconnect that happens sometimes here in Western places.
Yeah, because you don't necessarily equate like someone who has a refined palate. Like the stereotype around it is that if you have a refined palate, that you must be refined in other ways. But like when it really comes down to it, like sort of who has a refined palate is just who was like blessed with these like sensitive, you know, genes.
Right.
and it doesn't really necessarily translate over, just because they have a refined palate doesn't mean that they, only listen to opera or something like that,
Oh, God, can you imagine every kitchen, as you're walking, go to a bathroom somewhere, it's just blaring opera all the time instead of, death metal, which is more the case, I feel.
Well, I don't know, you must taste your drinks when you make them.
Sometimes, yeah. Yeah.
Got to make sure this vodka tonic has the right...
I taste every drink that goes out.
You don't do the thing where you're just like, oh, too much tonic and pour it out and start over. Too much vodka, pour it out, start it over.
This is all wrong. I'm so sorry. I have a line going out the door.
Here's your screwdriver, man.
God, just talking about this movie is making me hungry.
Do you cook?
I do. I like to cook.
Okay.
Yeah. I never have time for it, I feel like. But
Yeah, I've definitely dropped off in the past couple months, but I used to really enjoy it.
I'm definitely not one of those people who can just look in the kitchen and be like, oh, here we go, and whip something up.
Yeah.
I'm very much a recipe follower.
Oh, okay.
But when I do, I can do it pretty well.
Okay.
So, and I enjoy it. I get it now. It's definitely something I didn't get in my 20s.
Yeah, it didn't come intuitive to me. That's definitely for certain. If I have a recipe, I feel like I can make something decent. And I can make something that I will like.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I could ever make something that I would, be happy to serve other people.
Yeah.
Necessarily without following a recipe.
So that, toasted cheese sandwiches, just...
The last time I made
grilled
cheese,
because that's what I made today for lunch.
Last time I made grilled cheese, it got pretty burnt. It was pretty burnt. And then my friend who was there with me was just like, we should be chefs. I'm like, we can't even make grilled cheese. So, no, let's not be chefs.
Alright, here's an embarrassing admission. When I was younger, maybe in my early teens, 13-ish, somewhere there, I kind of had a streak of watching cooking shows. And
Cooking shows are so much fun to watch.
Oh, yeah, they're great. But the embarrassing part is that I go into the kitchen and make myself a peanut butter and jelly sandwich and pretend I was on my own cooking show. And I'm talking to the audience saying, so, you want to get your bread.
That's awesome!
Spread this evenly.
That's awesome!
Thank God there weren't camera phones.
I was going to say, I wish YouTube was a thing when you were a kid. Go back and watch Little Ryan.
Oh, man.
Teaching me how to make a PB&J.
I begged my parents for a video camera when I was pretty young, and they never gave it to me, which is maybe for the best, now that I'm thinking about it.
If we ever get a sizable following, I will have to dig out the horror movie I made when I was 11. Guess what it's called?
I can't. I don't even know.
The Violator?
I'm scared already.
And it was just me and a friend and my action figures that played aliens that invaded Earth.
Cool.
So I don't know where the tape is, but it was definitely filmed on one of those clunky, had to put it on your shoulder and you put a whole VHS in it.
Oh, I remember those.
Everything's done in one take. If we had to redo something, we had to rewind it.
Yeah, and edit over, kind of.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I feel like I turned in several video projects for school that way.
Yeah, I did too.
I mean, mine were hand cranked. You had to keep that film moving correctly, but, same deal.
So they're all Benny Hill speed.
Cue yakety sax. Should I tell you what I'd like to do next week?
Yeah, next week is our big Valentine's Day episode, right?
Indeed,
Did you pick something romantic?
Sort of. My idea of romantic.
Antichrist.
I picked a movie that kills two birds with one stone for me. It's kind of romantic, and it's a black and white film that was made before 1975.
Okay.
Which I've also been wanting to get on here. So I don't know if you've seen it. I haven't cleared this one with you. But I'd like to watch The Apartment.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
When was the last time you saw that?
At least 5 years ago, if not further.
Okay.
Yeah, that's one of those that, like, the DVD cover art was totally misleading to the movie itself. Because it has, like, Shirley MacLaine, like, doing, like, the what are you gonna do about it pose. And it's like, if you've seen the movie, what is she gonna do about it? She's gonna kill herself.
Spoiler alert! So, yeah. Next week, The Apartment.
Huzzah!
Yay, suicide. Keeping it dark.
Yeah.
After that lighthearted romp into food sex.
Yeah. Okay. Are we going to plug our junk?
Yeah, let's get it. Let's plug it.
Follow us on Twitter at X-Rated Movies.
Mm-hmm. We also have a Facebook page, which is Rated X Movies.
You can email us, x.rated.movies@gmail.com.
Or you can just shout into the void.
We're just as likely to hear it. But yeah.
Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.
We are X-Rated.
With your eyes.